fans, I'm your host Gina J, here for another edition of Renegade Wrestling Review. This week we dive right into AEW news, as well as a little bit of WWE, some NJPW, as well as a little bit of Lucha Underground, believe it or not. So let's get right into it. So, what's everybody's thoughts on this new All Elite Wrestling with the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Adam Page? I, for one, am totally stoked for this promotion. I think that if anybody can do it, these guys can do it. They have all the talent in the world. However, I was a little taken back. I mean, not really caught by surprise so much, but I just read an article that says Cody Rhodes actually quoted in there saying that they're not going to be hiring any writers to begin with. They actually want the talent to create storylines, and they kind of want the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and Hangman Page to come up with the end game, so to speak, as far as the bullet points of the storylines, and then the wrestlers to take the lead and carry out those storylines. It's very All Elite-esque, so to speak. They want to keep that original purity of All In to their new promotion. I think that this is great. I think that it might turn out to be a little bit... I take that back. I'm arguing with myself here because I was going to say it might be a little difficult, but I don't think it will be, actually, because the wrestlers are the ones that are going to know where to take that storyline above anybody else. Wrestlers, especially the wrestlers that are coming off of the indies like these guys are, they know what the fans want, and this is a fan-driven promotion, so I think that this could be really, really beneficial to us as fans. Cody Rhodes was quoted as saying, "There's plenty of young, fresh, independent talent out there that probably can get guidance and things of that nature, but there's also plenty of folks on board already that I wouldn't dare to try to tell him how to play their own music. If I am licensing you and I am paying you, then I already know what you can do. These are your songs, and I want you to go out there and play them. Obviously, there's a side to this of a collaborative effort, and we do need to have an end goal. Yada, yada, yada." The following quote was, he basically stated, he was asked about the resources like Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette, and he said that he has access to them, but he really doesn't want to use them. As I said, he wants to keep this kind of raw and pure, just like All In was, which is great as long as they can keep the wrestlers on pace, because we all know how All In finished. Not that I'm complaining, I loved All In, but they need to keep track of that as well. To follow up, he ended the article saying, "This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion to say, but I will say it. There won't be a writer hired for All Elite Wrestling anytime soon, because wrestlers are the writers. We're the writers. Like I said, the guys going out there and playing their own music, believe me. The day comes that I see this is something we can really benefit from, absolutely. But I knew 40 writers in WWE, and about 4 of them actually did anything. The reason I remember them and value them, they helped produce pre-tapes. They were team players. So right now, that's one thing we've got a lot of questions about, and we're keeping it very in-house for now." So that is the latest in regards to writers or any other kind of professionals coming into AEW. They're kind of trying to keep it in-house, as he said. Moving on from that, because I don't know what else I can talk about with that. Chris Jericho, everybody's kind of been questioning why Chris Jericho went to AEW, and a lot of people said, oh, well, it was because of his relationship with the Young Bucks and Cody. Other people said, oh, he didn't want to go to WWE, he hates WWE. Neither one of these are really necessarily true. Chris Jericho was quoted on his podcast saying that he basically loves WWE. He still respects WWE, but he felt like he had climbed as high as he could on the WWE mountain, so to speak. So he felt like there were more opportunities in AEW, not only for him, but for him to help bring up other young, talented wrestlers that may need a little bit of guidance. Pivoting off of that a little bit, we have another legend that is going to be in AEW, as I'm sure you all know. Billy Gunn is going to be the lead producer for AEW, which I think is fantastic. Nobody knows the business more than Billy Gunn. However, we did have a little bit of a problem with the legend Billy Graham, as he criticized WWE this week for switching Braun Strowman with Finn Balor. Graham was quoted as saying he feels fans won't buy Balor as a worthy opponent because of his size. He feels the WWE is double-crossing fans by putting a man who will not sell one ticket to see this match. I very strongly disagree. Anybody out there that knows me knows that I am a huge Finn Balor fan, and anybody who has seen anything that Finn Balor did prior to WWE knows exactly what this guy can do. I realize that the size is going to be a little bit of an issue. However, I have faith that Finn can get it done. Billy Graham closed off that interview by saying AEW will outdraw WWE head-to-head. This is incredibly confrontational, because I know a lot of people have been coming out in the woodwork saying, oh, AEW is going to blow WWE out of the water, blah, blah, blah. I'm one of those people that I kind of plant my feet firm on the ground, and I have no doubt in my mind that AEW is going to be very, very successful. However, I don't think that they're going to be up to WWE competition for a while yet. It's going to take them a little while. Now, I know that the fans are really excited about this. I know that they can give us the shows that we want as fans. WWE is a multi-billion-dollar company. You know, they have been around for years. It's going to take a little while for AEW to climb those ladders and get up to their level. Now, hopefully, crossing fingers here, I'm hoping that they will shoot up a lot faster than most people think they will, but either way around, it's going to take just a little bit of time, so don't be expecting AEW to be competing with WWE on the same level for at least, I'm not even going to give a time limit on that, because it's going to be a while. I don't care how many people out there hate me for saying it. It's the truth. It's going to be a while. Other news, WWE related, we have Dave Meltzer. I know Dave Meltzer, but he reported that Lesnar requested to fight Finn Balor, which is one of the reasons why Braun Strowman was actually removed from the main title picture. Apparently, Meltzer says that this was the plan all along, that it was kind of to string everybody along, thinking that Braun was going to be the one, and then to have this big thing happen, which played out on this past Monday Night Raw, where Finn Balor ultimately gets the championship match. I, for one, was absolutely ecstatic when Finn won. I actually jumped out of my chair for the first time in a while watching WWE, but Lesnar, supposedly, it's rumored that he requested to fight with Finn Balor, and if that's true, then I have a little bit more respect for Brock Lesnar, just because he respects the wrestler that Finn Balor is. Brock may have the size, but Finn has the wrestling skills. So we will see exactly how this match plays out as soon as Royal Rumble comes around. Other WWE news, it's been rumored today that the Revival has, or not requested their release, but it's been rumored that backstage officials at WWE after Monday Night Raw taping were very apprehensive and believed that the Revival could possibly be requesting their release from the company soon. Does this really come as a shock to anybody? Certainly not me. The Revival, I'm not a fan so much, but I know that they did amazing things before they came to the WWE. I know that they were pretty good in NXT. What they have done, or better yet, I'll say not done on the main roster, is pretty sad. I mean, even though I'm not a fan, it's pretty sad. It's kind of to me, it reminds me a lot of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I hate seeing those guys sitting there underutilized and unutilized every week, week after week after week, when we all know for a fact, especially Carl Anderson as a singles competitor, is ridiculously good. Anybody who has seen his stuff in New Japan knows exactly how good this guy is. Why they haven't linked Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson up with AJ and Finn yet to create a new version of the Bullet Club, I have no idea whatsoever, especially with New Japan gaining traction as it has been. But with the Revival, I know for a while there were tweets going back and forth between the Young Bucks and the Revival, and the Young Bucks and the Revival had actually said that they wanted to wrestle each other again, and that it would happen. It will happen. So I'm thinking if this is a big if, because there's nothing set in stone yet. There has been no official announcement from WWE, but if they do ask for their release, I do see them possibly going to AEW, just because that is where the most potential I see for growth is for them. They could, of course, go back to, or they could go to New Japan. I love New Japan, but I'm not really too much of a fan of the Revival going back to New Japan. Now, like AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, I could see them going back to New Japan to rejoin the Bullet Club, but I really don't see the point in the Revival going back to New Japan, especially since, as of right now, New Japan is supposedly not working with AEW. So that kind of limits the whole Young Bucks versus the Revival match. So, anyways, I'm getting off track. There was, like I said, rumor that they were going to ask for the release. Nothing set in stone yet. Another rumor for a potential couple in WWE that supposedly asked for their release 2 weeks ago already is Mike and Maria Kanellis. That's another, like, Mike Kanellis is an amazing talent that has just not been utilized whatsoever. The guy has done everything possible to be able to get on TV, and it seems after Maria had, or I should say, not even after she had the baby, after she got pregnant and had to kind of take a step back, that's when they kind of fizzled, so to speak. And I don't know if it's maybe just because, like, WWE really didn't see potential in Mike without Maria, or what was going on, which, I mean, that's just stupid in itself, because Mike Kanellis is amazing talent. But either way around, those two have been rumored. Ryan Satin from the Pro Wrestling Sheet actually stated that those rumors were told to him by a source directly from WWE. Again, rumored that they requested a release 2 weeks ago. We all kind of know exactly how WWE works with releases. They're not always granted. So even if the Revival or Mike and Maria Kanellis do ask for a release, it does not mean that they are going to be granted one. We saw them hold Pac, formerly known as WWE superstar Adrian Neville. We saw them hold him hostage for a year. What was it, like 6? No, it wasn't 6 months. It was like a year and a half. They held him hostage, and he literally sat at home with nothing to do, wasting months and months of his career for ridiculousness, in my opinion. But speaking of companies holding people hostage, Lucha Underground has been reportedly holding star, now correct me, I mean, stay with me here because I'm not very good at speaking Spanish, but Ivelisse Velez, they have been holding star Ivelisse Velez hostage, literally hostage, according to her, for well over a year now. She's been battling for her release for a year and a half, she said. Joey Ryan went on Twitter and actually backed up the Stars' claim, stating that the company promised anyone who requested a release would be granted one prior to season 4. Some left, but some didn't, and those who didn't got trapped with no future. There's no future for there's no season 5 for Lucha Underground right now, so she's literally trapped there. They will not release her. On Twitter, she states that she is just beyond frustrated because there's so much places that she could go to utilize her wrestling skills instead of just sitting there. But again, as we all know, these companies have a tendency, especially with AEW sparking up right now, they don't want to grant releases and then literally give their competition their top stars. So I believe that with her, as well as WWE with the Revival and with Mike and Maria Kanellis, we might see these stars continue to be held hostage for a while because they don't want them to run to AEW, sign with AEW, and basically hand them over to their competition. I don't care who you are. For anybody out there to say that companies do not see AEW as a potential threat, not right now, but as a future threat, let's say 10, 15 years from now, you're ridiculous, okay? Because if anybody can do this, like I said earlier, if anybody can do this, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks can do this, and as well as Adam Page. And they're ridiculously talented. They have business expertise. They have the financial backing. They're getting the stars. They have Chris Jericho and Pac for crying out loud, as well as some smaller, kind of less known stars like Joey Janela and MJF. But even still, these guys have the potential to be a contender in 10, 15 years. I mean, obviously they're going to be a contender sooner than that, but to say that, oh, well, WWE shouldn't care who gets released because, or who signs with AEW because that's not going to affect them. The stars that sign with AEW right now are the building foundations. They are the building block for what AEW is going to be 15, 20 years from now. So, I don't know. I see these stars I don't see them being let go, which is really sad because that means that there are several potential amazing stars that could be amazing on the indies or in AEW and ROH, New Japan, that are literally going to be sitting at home doing nothing, wasting their careers. Finally, we'll talk a little bit on the Bludgeon Brothers have been cleared, by the way, to go back to WWE. Yay, I'm not a big Bludgeon Brothers fan. Whatever, it is what it is. Tommy Dreamer, I did want to bring this up as well. Tommy Dreamer wants to work with AEW. Now, we all know how great of a relationship Cody Rhodes has with Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer was at All In. He said that he had such a blast at All In, and he loved the concept of the wrestlers kind of running the show, wrestlers telling the story. So he said that he 100% wants to be involved in AEW under, whether it's wrestling or backstage, we'll have to wait and see. But I do believe that we're going to see Tommy Dreamer as well as possibly Diamond Dallas Page. I see a lot of legends possibly coming and working with AEW. Diamond Dallas Page, we all know at All In, he came out with Cody. Tommy Dreamer was in a match at All In. So, of course, it's possible. Now, I state these things as possibilities, not that they're going to happen, but I don't know, guys. If AEW keeps on stacking the cards the way that they are, and my friend D Moon is going to hate me for this one, but they have potential. They really do. They have potential. lastly for tonight, I want to update everybody on Flip Gordon and Chris Sabin's injuries. Chris Sabin and Flip Gordon both suffered knee injuries this past weekend at ROH events, and Flip Gordon is anticipated to be back in a few weeks' time. I just want to pull that up real quick. Try and see exactly how long. I believe they said 4 weeks Flip Gordon was going to be out for. Chris Sabin, however, is out for a while. He unfortunately is going to have to endure knee surgery. I know that both Flip Gordon as well as other stars reached out to Chris Sabin on Twitter, and all Chris Sabin really said was, "I will be back." I have no doubt in my mind that this guy will be back. He is already well on the way to legendary status in ROH as well as New Japan. The guy is phenomenal. I wish him all the best. Flip Gordon, I believe, like I said, I believe it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks that he was going to be out because he just strained his MCL, I want to say, or something like that. Don't quote me on that because I don't have the information in front of me at this very moment. But it's only going to be a few weeks compared to Chris Sabin. So anyways, guys, that is all I have for you tonight. Oh, actually, one more thing. Can you guys do me a favor and just clear your mind when you're watching wrestling and don't go into it with a sour mind? Because I saw so many people on Monday night saying how horrible this was about Raw or how horrible this was. And Raw was pretty, I mean, it wasn't great by any means, but it was pretty dang good this past week. I do agree that one show does not say that they're actually changing. We'll have to wait and see what next week and the following weeks after that could bring. But if it's actually a decent show, just sit back and enjoy it. Don't join the train just because everybody else hates it. Use your brain. If you hate it, hate it. But if you didn't really hate it, you don't have to hate it. You can like it. It's okay. Anyways, guys, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that like button and sub, as well as share this feed out. We want to get some new followers up in here. Have a good night. Bye-bye.